How to rent an apartment in France. If you're planning to move to France, whether you're a student or relocating for work, you'll definitely need to find a place to live. And in this video, I'll show you how to rent in France as a foreigner. And most importantly, the mistakes you need to avoid. So first of all, why it's hard to find a place in France, especially as a foreigner? The answer is simple. There's much more demand than supply, especially in big cities like Paris and its suburbs. There aren't enough apartments, Airbnb is taking part of the market, and some properties can't even be rented anymore because of energy regulations. This is stupid, but it is what it is. The result? For a small studio in Paris, you're competing with students, young professionals, etc., and fewer available apartments. Another reason is that tenants are highly protected in France. If someone stops paying rent, it can take months to evict them. So landlords take very few risks and become extremely selective. In practice, you need also a very strong application. You should earn about 3 times the rent, have a permanent contract, and most importantly, you need to have a guarantor. And that's where it gets tricky for foreigners. A guarantor is someone who agrees to pay your rent if you can't. Another challenge is speed. In big cities, apartments can be gone within hours. Sometimes dozens of people apply for the same place. If you wait even 1 or 2 days, it's usually too late, even with a strong profile. So without understanding the system and without a solid application, it can quickly become a real struggle. So how to do it? How do you actually find a place? There are 2 situations. Either your company helps you or you have to do it on your own. First of all, if your company helps, if you're relocating for work, your company might help you find housing. Sometimes they can even act as your guarantor, which is very reassuring for landlords. Some companies rent apartments directly and sublet them to employees, and in the best cases, they can offer relocation services that handle everything, housing and paperwork. So the first thing you should do is check if your company offers that kind of support. If you're alone, it's more difficult, but not impossible. You'll need a strong application, to be very reactive, to stay organized, and most importantly, not give up. You can also go through agencies that specialize in expats like Logis, Paris Housing, or Relocation in Paris. They can help you through the entire process and can even assist you remotely. Most of the time, these are furnished apartments, which make things easier, but it's more expensive. Another solution is using a guarantor service. For example, Visale. It's free, but only for the European citizens, or private services like guarantee. Keep in mind that landlords often prefer a real guarantor, they prefer a person, and also Visale is free, guarantee is paid, usually a few dozen euros per month. Even with that, you'll still need to attend visits, and that's usually the most time-consuming and stressful part. And now, here are some tips to maximize your chances. First, you need to have a perfect application. You need to prepare everything in advance, your ID, your proof of income, your work contract, your guarantor. If your application is incomplete, it won't even be considered. Second, if you can be there physically, using an agency can save you a lot of time, even if it costs more. Third, if you're searching by yourself, you can use platforms like Se Loger, Le Bon Coin, PAP, turn on alerts and contact listings immediately. Ideally, within a few hours, be ready to call a lot and attend many visits. It's common to visit dozens of apartments before getting one. If possible, stay in France for 1 or 2 weeks to do all the visits, or have someone you trust to do them for you. If Paris is too competitive, consider the suburbs. It will be easier. And now some scams to avoid. You should never send money before visiting the apartment. Never pay for a list of apartments. It's almost always a scam. Be careful with listings that look too good or too cheap. And never sign a contract without seeing the apartment. If someone asks you to sign before visiting, it's almost always a scam. So renting in France as a foreigner is not easy, but it's definitely possible. If you have a strong application, you move fast and avoid the common mistakes, you can make it. I hope this video helps you with your search, and if it did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.